course, it's a 10-race program at Sha Tin on Sunday. So if you head to the website hkjc.com, multimedia showcase, and you can click on the links there and find Racing to Win, where we look at the undercard. It has a fantastic horses going round as well, plus, of course, the 4 Group 1s themselves. So the Longines Hong Kong Sprints is next for us. 1,200 metres, of course, headed by Mr. Stunning. Came up with barrier 4. Nashawira in the saddle. He's ridden twice to 2 victories. Lucky Bubbles, or Unlucky Bubbles maybe. Barrier 1 for him. Peniophobia, a previous winner. John Size has the Wizard of Oz and Amazing Kids, 1 of 4 in the race for him. Signs of Blessing, better draw this year for him. Barrier 5. The Right Man, the Al Quads winner. DB Pin, the 4th of the Size runners. Widegate for him. Stormy Liberal from America, the Breeders' Cup Sprint winner. Let's Go Donkey and Once in a Moon from Japan, both coming out of the Sprinters Stakes. Graham, let's start with the home team here. And Nashawira, when he stepped up at the barrier draw, it seemed like it took him an eternity. There was 2 choices. He hovered, he came up with 4, and there was a gasp when he did it.
Yeah, he chose wisely. Everything looks set up for another terrific run from Mr. Stunning. He's now the highest rated horse in Hong Kong, but my feeling at least is that there is about that much between Mr. Stunning and Lucky Bubbles when they both get smooth sailing. It's 3-1 to Mr. Stunning at the moment. The latest performance was silky smooth in the Jockey Club Sprint, but Lucky Bubbles got no chance to show what he could do. Lucky Bubbles beat Mr. Stunning, albeit only by a neck, in the Chairman's Sprint. If everything goes right for these 2 horses, I could see them dominating the finish with very little between them. So you flip the coin and perhaps go for the one that's the better price, but I do think these are elite Group 1 horses and they're likely to show it this weekend. All
right, well, John Size has got 4 in the race. Before we get into the rest of them, let's get his thoughts on the number 1 pick, I'm sure, Mr. Stunning.
Yeah, the horse has been fine. He's, as you say, he's won a couple of races already. He seems in good form. I think he's held that. He looks well and sound. He trialled nicely the other day. So I haven't got any concerns with him. He's been good.
He's the highest rated horse in the field. Do you have him as the pick of yours?
Well, on paper he has to be, because he's lived up to his rating in his last 2 starts. So it's just a matter of he gets a nice some luck in running, he's going to run well again.
I think it's going to be very hard to hold out, and Nash seems to get on with him so well. Just the 2 starts, but 2 wins for him. Kate, let's talk about the 2 Japanese horses. Closely matched, maybe in the Sprinters Stakes, the filly and the mare.
I think Once in a Moon has definitely improved on her previous performances. She's a relatively newcomer to this higher class of race. She placed 16th in the Takamatsu Nomiya Kinen earlier this March. So that was kind of a disappointment, but she came back and at the lower allowance level and the open level in Japan, she was able to knock off a couple of wins before coming back into the Sprinter Stakes and running a very impressive 3rd. However, I think this is a really high step up in class, especially considering the quality of the Hong Kong runners. So she personally is not my pick. However, she got an amazing draw.
Yeah.
They are very happy with it. And, you know, Zach Turton, who knows this place very well, should definitely, it'll give them an edge that I don't think they necessarily had before the draw. My personal favorite is Let's Go Donkey, aside from the adorable name, and she's fairly adorable in general. She was 2nd in both of Japan's major sprint races, the Takamatsu Nomiya Kinen in March and the Sprinter Stakes in October. And she was only 2nd by a neck to Red Falks, who declined to come to Hong Kong this year. So I think that she's a fighter. So when she's got an okay draw, they were happy enough with it. If she gets a good run, she's going to be fighting to the very end.
So Signs of Blessing, Kevin, huge run. They ran upside down last year because of the draw. Barrier 5 this time round. Live chance?
I give him a great chance. I think he's a very, very talented horse. If you look through his form, it's very hot and cold. But when he's hot, I think he's world class. And you can make excuses for most of his poor runs this season. At Royal Ascot, I think there was confusion between the staff.
It's a dehydration issue or something,
his staff weren't allowed to rehydrate the horse after he travelled, and they were very much blaming that for that particular run in the Prix Maurice de Guise, the race he won last year. This year was just disastrous for him because they just went a suicidal pace up front, and he was involved in that, and he completely blobbed that day, but again, excusable. Last time, not so easy to excuse in the Prix l'Abbaye, was very disappointing, but like I say, he's a horse that can bounce over a Mac, but the draw has been favourable. He's shown last year, like you say, he was beaten just under 2 lengths from a horrendous draw, ridden upside down with a better draw. I'm sure there seems to be a fair bit of pace in this, but he'll be good and handy, I'd imagine. and hopefully he'll be primed to run very well. I think the talent is there, he just needs to put it in.
Great to have the Al Quoz winner in the right man, but conditions maybe not ideal for him?
Well, that's it. I think in the perfect world for him there would be plenty of rain knocking about, and it clearly isn't. So I think he would need conditions like that to show his very, very best, and his very, very best is probably what would be required to win a race like this.
All right, Graham, back to the home team. We need to talk about Stormy Liberal actually as well, don't we? The American contender. He's got a wide straw, but Breeders' Cup winner, they don't give those away. Yeah,
last gasp Breeders' Cup winner. So he looks like a hold-up sprinter who'll need the gaps to come at the right time. He's also going right-handed, very unusual for an American horse. And I think the bottom line with Stormy Liberal is he probably needs, in fact, he almost certainly needs to be a better horse in Hong Kong than he was in California. That seems unlikely. Quick word on the Wizard of Oz, because just when you give up on him, he might turn up. He's the wizard in morning trials. He's more like the Cowardly Lion some afternoons. 4 lengths and 3 lengths behind Mr. Stunning Self.
1,400 metres though.
But maybe he'll get a really breakneck pace this time. I haven't given up on him completely. I'll put him in third in my line, but I don't want to go without mentioning the Wizard of Oz, because someday Joe Moreira's faith in him will be justified.
Yeah, I think they're very closely matched. There's £5 between the top 8 on their international ratings. Should be a great race. Kevin this time will lead us off here then with a sprint.
I'm starting off with Signs of Blessing, followed by Lucky Bubbles, Mr. Stunning and Peniophobia.
There you go. So it's heading overseas apparently, Graham, but the home team doesn't get. This is a race. If we're going to win one, I say we, then this is probably the one, isn't it?
I hope they've got a good stock of Bohemia flags here, because I'm going Lucky Bubbles, Mr. Stunning, the Wizard of Oz, and DB Pin for the quartet.
All right, so clean sweep for Graham. So, Kate, again, choosing between the two, the girls, who's the best of them, do you think?
Well, before the draw, I really thought that Let's Go Donkey would have the best chance. Her draw, to me, isn't ideal, and Once in a Moon got a once-in-a-lifetime chance with a second place, the second barrier. With Zach in the saddle, I think she could have a very good day. All
right, excellent. Maybe a place chance then. And speaking of Zach, we'll be heading to the Hong Kong Mile after this, and he'll be back with defending champion Beauty Only.